Episode 22 of Season 2 of Tales from the Darkside, The Unhappy Medium That Takes on Televangelists. And it's very similar to the Twilight Zone episode, The Masks, or really any show that takes on what happens when a very rich but scummy, in this case, televangelist, dies, and his family has to fight over his inheritance. In this one, we get Farley Bright, who is recently deceased, and we see here is a televangelist that can actually have the powers to heal you. Isn't that amazing?
Power, folks. Ain't it wondrous?
Someone out there has a very bad back problem. The doctor bills, they're piling up.
This was way more common in the 80s than it is now, though there are still people claiming to be Jesus and healing you. And occasionally, if you stay up late enough and watch actual live TV, like an old person, like me, you'll see commercials like this occasionally.
When they use the miracle spring water.
My husband brought the spring water up and I drank it. And I'm speaking today. I had no speech, totally paralyzed, and now I'm testifying.
This faith tool will help you to see liberation from the bondage of death. It's free. I want to send it to you. No obligation.
Magic water, huh? So we have his surviving family, the niece, her boyfriend, and her mother. His niece, Jenny, is what we call in the biz a liberal. A bad liberal. He doesn't like her very much. Well, he kind of does like her, but he does bash her a lot. In fact, this Tales from the Dark Side gets a little more political than they usually do, and I'm here for it. I don't care. We here at TVAnthologyReviews are so fair and balanced. Let me pat myself on the back. How's the Trump administration doing? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. But this one definitely has a huge liberal bias. And while I'm for bashing faith healers, there's also a lot of bashing of Christianity too. But it's all good. So Jenny is the good character. She's the main character. She's just here to help the poor and needy.
It's food, clothes, and shelter for thousands of people who are too disadvantaged to take care of themselves. If we had 1/10 of the money that the Church of the Bright Tomorrow has,
but is not above taking some money from Mr. Farley Bright himself. I mean, he's already dead. He might as well take the inheritance, right? That's what I say. Give it to BLM or something. Were they around back then? I don't know. It's hard for a mega faith-healing preacher like Farley Bright to give up power, and he is in a bit of a conundrum. A purgatory, if you will. Heaven will not take him. Hell doesn't want him. Sounds vaguely like a song. So he has decided to carry on his duties of doing these fake faith healing where he pushes people and says, your cancer is healed. And they still have cancer. But he got some money out of him through his niece, Jenny. And he possesses her body, as we see here.
We don't need a new leader for the church. I'll just carry on my work through Jenny. Jenny will be my medium. Ain't it wondrous? We'll all be together forever.
Honey?
Are you all right, Jen?
And whenever you see her, half of her face red, half of her face blue, that means she's being possessed by Mr. Farley Bright himself. And he says his famous tagline, ain't it wondrous? And they say this many times throughout the episode. Constantly. They are trying to make fetch happen. And it gets a bit annoying. There's one thing you'll remember about this episode is a guy cackling and saying, ain't it wondrous? Ain't it wondrous? No, it ain't that wondrous. This is a little below average. Farley Bright is stuck in purgatory, but actually his 3 heirs are also stuck in purgatory. When they open the doors to the house, they find that they're in some type of hellish landscape and cannot escape this house right now. So what do? Well, Jenny decides to sacrifice herself. She keeps getting possessed by him, and she doesn't want to be possessed anymore and carry out his deeds. So she just jumps out the door. Honestly, I'm not really sure what happens. She throws herself out into the purgatory, and then that fixes everything. The ending is not the best, but this isn't really the best episode either. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. It is definitely subpar. Jenny is the good character. She's the one we're supposed to be rooting for, the activist, and she does get a good ending. Finally find his will, and most of the stuff goes to Jenny. Farley Bright's wife is left with $15,000 and a small cut of the church, which she should be satisfied with, but she's not satisfied. She wants the whole thing.
Hold it, you two. So, I suppose you two just think you can walk on out of here with Uncle Farley's hard-earned money and then just give it to that do-good organization of yours.
So you have a family fighting over a will. You have a house that just randomly goes into Purgatory, and then somehow the Purgatory disappears. Makes absolutely no sense. But at least the scenes where Jenny gets possessed by her uncle are kind of entertaining, and she does a decent job of mimicking Farley Bright's bombastic demon possession. Or even in the afterlife, he wants money and fame. Maybe he should try to figure out how to get out of Purgatory first. Nah, he's not worried about that. And when you have a plot that doesn't really make sense, you need to have some type of actually good characters or good action to make up for it, and that is lacking in this episode. Ginny, who's played by Carolyn Ann Clark, who is a soap opera actress in As the World Turns and Guiding Light, and is also written by the most inconsistent writer of Tales from the Darkside and also Monster, Edith Swenson. She will write great episodes, like The Caspian Curse, that we're going to cover in 2 episodes. She'll write bad episodes, like A Serpent's Tooth. She'll write mediocre episodes like Red Leader. She's literally all over the place. So if you see Edith Swenson as a writing credit, just go, that means nothing, because some are good, some are bad. Next up is episode 23 of season 2 of Tales from the Darkside, Fear of Floating, which is about a guy who just starts, floating like a balloon. Is there an It joke in there somewhere? Probably. Check out our playlist for all episodes of Fear Itself, which is finished, Monsters, which is finished, Tales from the Darkside. We're halfway through. Almost done season 2. 2 more seasons to go. Cowboy Bebop. And also Black Mirror. See you later.